where we're going. All right, back on your screens and in your ear holes. Welcome to Papa G's house. Tonight is now. This is a party.
This is a party.
This is a proper party
Always got to bring the party, man.
for sure. We've got Kyle, Olly, and Brett from the mighty Bulletscript tonight.
Thank you.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Pretty good tonight, yeah?
Good, man. Good. We squeezing up on the couch tonight, eh?
Well, apparently this is the first threesome on this couch.
Well, it's the first foursome. It's the first time I've ever had three guests.
now we're
so
actually
you're
fucking
stretching
talking,
me
eh?
thin here.
Now it's a party.
Ooh, are you like
Careful
butter
choice of
spread
words.
over too much bread?
Welcome, guys. I've actually got my first veteran of Papa G's house here. The first return.
The first return.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's the prodigal son, but we both know that that's not true. So
Listen, before we get into the whole Bulletscript vibe tonight, let's just take a moment and reflect about what happened last weekend at that Fuzzy Gish show.
sure. What a great band, eh?
Absolutely nuts.
I remember watching Fuzzy Gish at Kebab Junction, Ramburg, Waterfront
Yeah.
in Joburg in the mid-90s. Doing some covers and stuff like that, and then to be playing with them many years later, and then also again to, see a show at Mercury with about 500 odd people.
Dude, it was insane. I don't think it's been a long time if I've ever seen that many people in Mercury.
Well, some of the internationals haven't even got that kind of a crowd,
dude, not even close.
It's nuts.
And it was nice. I saw all the old faces for the past 20 odd years in the sort of punk, metal, hardcore scene, and a bunch of new faces as well.
That's always
And
a
not
positive
necessarily
thing.
young people. Just it just really does showcase quite a really big mixed bag of fruits, if I could put it that way. But everybody's so rad, and dude, it's good. Eh? It's refreshing seeing that there's that many people willing to just go out and watch a really good band.
Yeah, well, not just one really good
No,
band.
sure,
The lineup was insane. Just to give a little bit of background, we've got Kyle, who's a member of Half Price, and you filled in on drums for Crossfire Collision this past weekend.
I did.
And we've got Olly, who's the bass man in Alive at Midnight, and then we got Brett, who's the former frontman of All Guns Full Ammo, who's currently blowing up the internet with their Ramfest 2014 video.
Told you, mixed bag of fruits.
No, 100%. But guys, again, lots of stuff happening in the Bulletscript camp this time this year.
Yeah, look, it's about time. We Brett's the latest edition, so.
Hi. Of many.
And we feel really good. We feel really good with this EP that's coming up, which we'll obviously chat about later.
For sure.
Feel really good with what's coming for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Feel really good as a band, as a team, as a unit.
100%.
So yeah, I think positive times, good times, fun times, lots of drinking.
I think the last, again, coming in sort of cold here, having joined the band quite recently.
Sure.
The second half of last year, I think, has really felt like building up to something, finding new sound, working on new material, sort of creating something that's as good but different to where the band used to be.
Totally.
And I think this year had to start heavy, hard, and busy, to sort of really just maximize on what we were trying to do at the end of last year.
Yeah, well, let's quickly talk about that. How was Summerfest, dudes? You know what? I had to, unfortunately, miss it. It's not something that I usually like to miss, but I heard it was absolutely insane.
This was Bulletscript's first Summerfest that we've ever played. We played a couple of Winterfests over the years. Dude, it's, as a metal band or, hardcore, they do spread quite a bit, but, between Summerfest and Winterfest, it's two of the shows out of the entire that as a band you want to be on because the attention that the organizers put into it to make sure that everybody's cool, they got what they need.
Sure.
The whole environment, nice venue, and just a really good group of people that come, and you recognize a lot of people, but at the same time you always see new faces being added, so this means it's growing.
No, 100%.
And yeah, dude, I mean, it's just, again, we played, I mean, it was probably one of the heavier lineups I've seen on a Metal for Africa.
Yeah, there were some very heavy acts. in
Yeah,
fact,
dude,
eh?
I mean, you had, like obviously a whole bunch of bands, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you had Adorned in Ash, you had Vulvadinia, you had Zombies.
Getting put between Adorned in Ash and Vulvadinia was mental.
No pressure whatsoever there. Right?
Yeah, no, it's so yeah, it was really good, dude. You know, really
And it was
enjoyed-
packed out as usual.
Yeah,
it
dude.
was-
You know,
Always.
I seem to think that every year it seems like it just gets more traction, and it
does.
more. It just seems like more people go every year.
It does. You know, look, I think Pat and the guys. I mean, Pat's obviously great. Everybody knows
Yeah.
Pat in the scene. He really works his fucking socks off to to make sure that it grows every year. He's always looking for feedback. If there's anything that you haven't been happy about or anything like that, they're always trying to do better.
Sure.
And whether you're in the know or not, but even as like an audience member, you can. I think every year you can just see it growing, and you can just see it being better and better. You know.
I think every festival is like a new attendance record and everything. So
Yeah.
new
Exactly.
people.
Yeah, well,
every
that's
time.
but that's what I'm saying is that there's an attendance rise every single year, especially because they're gaining momentum with the new venue and all that kind of jazz.
I think one of the things that's actually worked so well with the new venue and the new space and building a vibe for themselves around there. Besides the fact that with every new gig, the actual merchandise and the stalls and stuff on offer get more and more, gets larger, the crowd outside gets larger. They're really sort of evolving the space into something rad. But above and beyond that, if you look at the online conversation and stuff right now, it's really being accepted as that positive place to be for metal. You know, even outside
place
of
for
metal
friendship
circles.
and metal.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the
Yeah,
slogan.
for friendship and metal, and it's exactly like that. I mean, I now know some people who aren't metalheads just because they dig the vibe.
Sure.
And it's such a positive idea
really
and
cool.
a positive space to like start growing within the local vibe. Which I mean, Patrick obviously has a ton to do with that.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, if you want to go watch live bands, irrespective of where your allegiance lies in terms of, what kind of music you like and stuff, you do get a good sense that the bands on the bill are really good bands. You know, they whether they're some of the newcomers coming up and starting early in the afternoon, they're good. They got on that lineup for a reason.
Yeah.
And then you got the more seasoned guys coming in late in the evening. But, from the stalls to the vibe, it's really cool. And like, a very big misconception is that metalheads, because of whatever they wear or tattoos and like that, they're an unapproachable crowd, and that it couldn't be more further from the truth. Like the nicest guys in the music scene, and I mean,
Totally.
I've been in for like about 20, I've been in for like almost 20 fucking years, and a lot of people that didn't know about the metal crowd, or they just say like, I can't believe like these guys, they always look so hardcore and like but they're like the nicest fucking people around, and you do get a very good sense of brotherhood between bands and people helping out, and just it works, and and whatever they're doing, they're just improving on it. They're not trying to change the whole sort of platform of it, or the whole like the space where people want to come and watch bands. Like they're doing that, but they're just making it better every year.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is good.
Speaking of being better every year, you spoke about like
Just move that mic a little bit closer to your face there, bro.
I like the pop shield in my face. It's a bit furry, but
Pop face.
pop face.
Carry on there.
yeah,
Brett.
sorry. So you mentioned like the speaking play.
Sorry, my bad. I had to get.
That's what the pop filter is there for.
Savannah, actually.
No, wait. This is a party. Well,
No,
There you go.
welcome, guys.
Ching, ching,
Welcome.
ching.
Cheers to Papa Jesus, baby.
So, like you said, it's like speaking about things getting better
Yeah.
every year. And Carl mentioned earlier on about how good the bands are. And almost literally every band that plays there at Summerfest and Winterfest are tight as all hell. To the point that I'm not even joking. that was one of the more nervous I was for a gigs in my entire career, because just everyone was spot on.
Yeah.
But what Winterfest and Summerfest are really doing for the scene is creating that level of expectation. Not to speak against earlier summer and Winterfest, but when the first couple of ones I jammed would have been about 6 years ago, I think. Hell of a lot of fun, but you can tell the difference in skill level and technicality from the bands that play now to the bands that used to play back in the day. Still awesome, but there's a focus on accuracy and performance and just technical ability and,
Sure.
and perfection.
It's become like nearly a benchmark to be asked
Exactly.
to do that.
Yeah, like people take it. It feels like people taking it way more seriously now to be on the Winterfest and Summerfest gigs because there's this expectation of professionalism, which I think is something that's growing stronger and stronger in the local scene. And I think it's one of the things that's making us over the last, say, 3 years stand out a lot more internationally than maybe we used to.
Don't you think that's
7 years
also a result of the evolution with technology? You know, where kids are able to record their own stuff at home with sound devices and get their plugins and
Look, the tools
all that kind of jazz.
The tools that are available now for guys learning to play instrument or in bands, stuff like that, are amazing. I mean, I've said it many times. When I started playing, there was no YouTube. There wasn't even the internet. You know what I mean? So like, you literally had to listen to that CD or that tape.
You're not that old, bro.
I'm not, but I've been playing drums for fucking years.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But I mean, you got to go. So there's all these tools over there. But more so than what I really like about the Metal for Africa sort of model is that although all the bands are really super tight, they're still giving the newer bands the opportunities to play these really big shows and to learn from the bigger bands.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about any sports team or anything like that, the youngsters have got to come through and play with the better guys because that's the only way you're going to get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also you got to have a certain amount of pride in your own band and what you do to get onto that bill. If you're not trying to push your band or you're not playing gigs or you're not trying to do what you can to get known or to get out there, you're not going to make it onto that bill. So, the younger bands are coming through. It's not that they're just given, thrown a bone or anything like that. That's hard work that gets you there. And then, again, to take the opportunity. I mean, all those first bands that opened, I was there from like about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. So I watched every band and, it just went from strength to strength to strength. And there was no band that wasn't good.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back. I mean, I played my first Metal for Africa in 2015 in February. And I'm just thinking back, going, like, oh my word, we were so young and we were so inexperienced. And it's almost like I really appreciate the fact that we played and it was an amazing experience. But I feel like I didn't have enough under my belt.
But
you know what I mean? I didn't have it
But at the same time, it wasn't the event or the venue or the people that made you feel that was just more personal things. It's a very level playing field.
No,
there.
No,
I mean,
100%.
It's like, I mean, bands that are the big, in the bigger bands, the headliners, whatever. I've seen them talking to the young bands. Like, you know what I mean? There's no segregation. There's no like.
I'm just thinking performance-wise.
Well, that's what I mean. Dude, I mean, I get like that every time. My muscles cringe, like, and I get this claw fucking thing. Especially,
you still get, like, nerves, like proper nerves.
With Bulletscript, because, like, the drumming is quite a bit demanding for this old drunken soul. But with Half Price, no, not really, But, I mean, again, it's just, it's... You always want to keep your own personal standard.
Sure. No,
you know 100%. What I mean? So... And again, metal, just by its actual genre, you got to have the chops just to play the fucking style. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's thrash or death or fucking, like prog or whatever it is, it's like, it's not a 3-chord kind of song. You know what I mean? There's a lot of intricacies. There's a lot of technicality. So that takes a fair amount of dedication.
It's your fault.
I don't write the stuff, dude.
You don't? Okay.
Bro, I'm still the guy that mocks before 90% of the shows. Like,
this guy gets...
You and I are the same then, because I get super stressed before.
Man, you've seen me before shows, dude. Like, I don't want to talk to anyone. Like, you be my best host. I just can't.
I actually told him he's miserable.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, if you don't fucking lighten the fuck up, you're going to make me miserable.
There's like a fine line between being a dick and being focused.
Also, it was only me and him there at the time that I knew. So I was like, if you leave me to go fucking puke in the corner or fucking like...
At Metal for Africa, all I could get through was a 17 rand pack of tiny, like 2-inch long, maybe a third of a box of those celery fucking pieces you get from Pick and Pay. Dude, no, I'm useless before shows, dude. I can't, man.
Much the same. And you, Brett, how do you feel before a show?
Oh, yeah, man. Metal for Africa, this last one I was nervous as all hell, but I'd considerably more pressure on me for this particular show.
You were brand new. You were like being unwrapped.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we played a few gigs last year for far smaller audiences.
I actually caught a little snippet of one of your gigs.
Oh, cool.
Can't remember. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I probably can't either.
No,
neither can we, dude.
No, but carry on.
But yeah, so I am currently quite nervous before shows, especially ones like the last Summerfest. And when you see me backstage, I must sound like a complete fucking lunatic because it's just me making bizarre noises to try and every thing I try and like high humming to like anyone who walked past there didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Warming
would
the
have me committed
vocals
in
up.
a second.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Gotta be
Well,
done.
I mean, that again just also shows you to a certain amount of dedication. You know, it's being in a band. Yes, it's all fun. You're jamming with homies and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, not that you want to run it like a business, although that's a fair element if you want to go out and do shit.
Yeah.
You got to put that pressure on yourself to make yourself better. You know what I mean? You got to put yourself in there with the big cats. You know, and the worst thing you can do is if you feel like you didn't really nail it as good as you can, is to work on it so that the next time that you can come. You know what I mean? It's like, so these, although they're really good experiences and opportunities as well, they're also good places to reflect to see how far you've come. And like,
I think
nobody's like their biggest enemy other than themselves. You've got to put that pressure on because you've got to, you know, playing a show, although it's rad to be comfortable and all of that kind of stuff. But if you're not putting that pressure on yourself, then you're going to stay quite stagnant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be really good, but if you're not, you know, good, the best players in the world never stopped at being like, okay, well, I'm really good. They continued until they were the fucking best.
Amen, brother.
I think also like specifically locally and stuff, and we've all been in various bands for a while. I think at some point, I mean, almost everyone I firmly believe gets into a band just to have a party and have fun. Like, I think that's largely the main reason. Like, I want to be in a band. I want to have a Joel. You go out, you have a party.
You get paid in beer.
You get paid in beer, you know, bar tabs and whatever.
Yeah.
And at some point when you've been doing it for like 10 years, 15 years and stuff.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. But
In my first band, we got paid in bottles of Russian beer vodka, and that's not even a joke.
That's Grahamstown. That's not even planet Earth.
No, sure.
But
somehow we've gone backwards.
we've gone backwards. But I think when you've been in this for like a decade plus, at some point you got to ask yourself, I think, like, why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
And I think at that point you start taking pride in the performance, you start taking pride in the writing, and that doesn't mean you become a stickler or an arsehole, you know, but it just means that you want to better yourself and you want to perform to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, the nerves mean you care.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes you're going to cock it up, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to be drunk for, like, we're not, there's no, but first
You got to
and
take the
foremost,
good with the bad, and you'll have your
yeah,
days.
and I think
It's as
first and
simple as
foremost,
that.
we still want to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a job, and you still want to have fun, but you want to have fun, but also do the best show you can do for the people that are paying to watch you, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, I don't want to deviate, but for example, me filling in with Crossfire, it's like it was only the last practice that I was making still mistakes, but we had the vibe between the members then, you know?
Oh,
and
totally.
if the songs got the vibe on stage, the only people that don't make mistakes are like the musicians that stay in the background going, you know, like this kind of thing. But for the audience and the crowd, as long as you got that vibe, so you can put all the pressure on, but at the time when the opportunity comes, it's that balance. I can't fuck it up too much, but at the same time, I can't be like
Robotic.
I've got a fright, to be honest with you.
and you know, and just like not enjoying myself on stage. This is like the time where all this hard work, I want to enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's like, and even if I'm not, you know, I could have hit that note better, or I could have, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
As long as you keep that vibe, I think people attract to a very real human emotion. You know, if you can see a guy in a band or the whole band together, especially when they're unison, and it doesn't need to be the tightest band you've seen, but if you can see what the music is doing and how people attract to like other people having a good time and having fun, you know what I mean? So if you can get that on stage.
There was a photo that I saw. I don't know who took the photo, and maybe you guys can tell me, because the people who actually capture the stuff are as important.
Okay.
I believe.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
dude.
So all your photographers, Keats,
Yes,
Kilkenny,
is just ridiculous. Keats is amazing.
shout out to Keats, shout out to Kilkenny, Leanne, shout out to
Laura
Laura
McLachlan.
shout out to Anel, shout out to
And
Basically, all
everyone-
of you that like
yeah.
take photos and photos of us, we love you.
yeah, totally, because they do it with open arms, etc., etc. But I wanted to say there was an iconic photo captured of you.
Can we put it up on the screen somewhere?
It's gonna come up
Gonna
right.
appear right.
It will appear in the edited version of this podcast.
Oh, thanks, bro. Man, but yeah, it was an iconic photo. I remember seeing it and I was like, wow, that is the kind of photo that you want to see, where a band has gone through the hardship of losing a vocalist and have found a rebirth in a new vocalist, and he looks all sweaty and he's gritty, and it was amazing. I find moments like that,
Is that
in
the
photographs.
blue, the close-up blue one?
100%. I
He
will.
said sweaty and gritty, and I knew exactly what Johnny was talking about.
It's on the podcast now.
You know, it's
Nobody agree with me?
no, I agree with you.
Okay,
100%.
great.
I'm not sure
I
which
like
one
it.
you're talking about.
I know it's the one with the blue light in the background, and Brett's doing something like
Yeah,
this over
that's
the
it.
monitor kind of thing.
I appreciate moments like that.
Me as well. I was like super stoked they caught that one because I don't remember doing it.
And your beard is looking smashing, my friend.
Right, yeah. I figured new band, new chin. No, new band, new chin. Yeah?
But I mean, that's the thing. Like any band, I mean, I suppose this podcast is about our sort of journey. But you know, we've had fucking every member change under the sun. You know, and for somebody that's not in the band to actually see, like, and who knows that we've gone through some member change, to actually see just in one photo, just actually like, even though it doesn't have the whole band in it, to actually just see that he's having a good time.
It's almost like
it's solid. He's there. He's, you know, it's like you're not gonna, you know, it looks natural that you're giving it your all. You know what I mean? And that's all the band can ask of its members. It's all the audience can ask of its band that they like. You know what I mean? Is to really give it its all and that kind of thing. And it's just to give that, just that impression that, you know, it's like Bulletscript, for example, the music has kept us together.
Sure.
You know, we've had differences personally. We've had member changes. We've had, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to go all into details, but we've had so many opportunities to throw in the towel, and I think why we've always stayed with it, even all the people that have actually dropped out of the band, has really been circumstantial more so than a want. You know, it's never been. It's more on a circumstantial reason, either by, you know, finance or relocating, whatever the case may be. But the people that stay and the new people that come in, you always find that there's this huge attraction to the music. You know, and I'll put myself through hell before letting go of that. Yes. And I've got that feeling with Olly, I've got that feeling with Brett, I've got it with JJ, I've got it with Jacques. That we put ourselves through hell to get this, but goddamn, we feel very strong about what we do. We love what we do. It's in a selfish sense, it's almost never been about the crowd. You know, it's about that personal satisfaction. And if the crowd can get on that same page as us and really feel what we feel, or feel whatever they do in their own way, if the music can be as important to them as it has been to us, then fucking job done.
Well, let's address it like this. If you are constantly dealing with adversity in the sense that, you know, someone has to drop out, they're immigrating or they're whatever the case may be. Tell me, what is the key to keeping it together? Because you kept it together for long. I wanted to go back to how Bulletscript was formed and all that kind of jazz. You can give me the rundown in a short.
Well, I'm actually going to jump in there quickly.
Yeah,
Sure, go for it.
I feel like I have unique insight in this, actually.
Yes,
having
because you've
just
been
joined the band.
you're now you're the same as a lot of people around, where you were a fan first.
Yeah, I was a fan first,
100%,
exactly. And the funny thing is,
Were you?
I was. the Winterfest, they played, I think it was a year before Ian left. Me and my mate were standing in the crowd, and we actually get to our mate later on. But we were watching these guys play and thinking like, shit, these guys got to be one of the best death metal bands in Cape Town. Like, they're amazing. And then it was almost exactly a year later when I got the call from Jacques asking if I wanted to join. Yeah? So there's a lovely synchronicity there. But just before Kyle gets into like the depth of being in the band over the last like decade or something, as someone who's only really been in it for about a year, that's just a hell of a jolt, man. Like, I mean, I've been in a bunch of bands and everyone gets along, everyone has fun, everyone takes the music serious but not too seriously to turn into an arsehole. It's a really welcoming, friendly, enjoyable band to be in. Everyone tends to see things in the same sort of light. Everyone has the same outlook on life. It's a comfortable, great, enticing fit, you know, and I can understand why people wouldn't leave for reasons beyond the circumstantial, because it is got like a nice tight-knit brotherhood family vibe, which is
that's one thing I've always picked up, that you guys are always a very tight-knit, but that the fact that you guys are all very extremely friendly guys, especially to newer guys coming up in the scene. Obviously, Atlantic South, the band that I'm in, hasn't been around as long as Bulletscript, but hey, look at that.
I do really like your band.
Another
though,
piece
man.
of
Thanks,
Atlantic
man. I
South somewhere.
appreciate it. And obviously, we've also been
Played a few shows
experiencing,
together, yeah.
you know, we've had our fair share of adversity and all that kind of jazz, but this is all about you guys tonight. Where
Is
you
it?
guys have, is it? Where you guys have always been so great with the bands that you're not familiar with and the bands that are playing on a bill that you don't necessarily know. I remember when we first played with Bulletscript. I mean, I'd known Olly
A little bit.
A little bit.
Through common friends.
Yeah. But you guys, as a group, were always so friendly. I remember JJ. We were all drunk, and was at Raw, and we were having the best fucking party of our lives. And Bulletscript was playing, and I can't even remember the lineup that night, but it was like I didn't have cash. You had all your merch there, and I was like, "Fuck! I want your T-shirt. I want a beanie, and I want an EP."
Yeah.
And he gave it to me,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Send me the money. It's fine." And he just gave it to me, just that trustworthy kind of situation.
Yeah, look, again, it's.
Just remind me to send. Please, just send me
we're
the bank
still waiting
details.
Are we still waiting for that EFT?
So that's the deficit we're looking for.
With interest, right?
Yeah, carry on, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, although the band's been through a lot of member changes, the skill set, as we were talking a bit earlier, the skill set is one thing, but the biggest thing, I'm not even an original member of the band, but for a large period of time, it was just Jacques and I trying to keep this band alive.
Sure.
And the common denominator that we both felt was like, the skill set is one thing that you can nurture, but you can almost, not galvanize, but you can almost direct somebody coming in, like, in which direction the band's going in to get on board, to jump on the same bus. But more importantly than anything else is, can we fucking hang with you? Are you a cool dude? Like, can we, and look, not that we
Of course, I would love to be in your band.
No.
Oh, sorry.
But the more important thing was this, being in a band, you invest a lot of time, it's a lot of hardship, you go through a lot of,
Totally.
a lot of my best friends are not the guys I play in bands with, but by whoever, the most hectic experiences that I've ever been on, where you really need to see the true friendship or brotherhood of somebody, I've been with bandmates. When like there's shit that's just gone south, and with my best friends kind of thing, that wouldn't have worked out. Within the band, it kind of works out. So it was very important to us.
There is a different kind of loyalty.
It is.
You're on a different level.
You just experience different stuff on a different level that kind of connect you on a subconscious level.
Well, it's
way
an
more.
entirely unique experience being in a band
exactly.
together. As much as you with your close friends, unless you've actually played in a band with them, there's a part of you that they will never share.
Yeah.
And your bandmates experience a very specific, unique, almost bubble experience of friendship.
And also
Yeah,
that
there's
part of
nothing
you,
else
like
that's
you say,
really
that
similar.
your normal
Yeah.
friends never share. It's like if you're a musician and you put enough work to just get known in your home city or something like
Yeah.
that, it obviously means a big fucking deal to you. So although like your normal group of friends don't experience that, you experience that with your band friends, and this is almost what like knits you together more so in a family scenario than a friendship or camaraderie, or I suppose the band will be more camaraderie.
Without a
kind
doubt.
of thing, and so bringing back to my point is that like a large thing for Jacques and I were, you got to have the skill set. It's not anything that's insurmountable if you're not quite at the level, or if you've got a slightly different style or anything like that. It's who you are as a person. You know what I mean? That's a huge thing. I mean, being in a band, fucking writing tunes is like 30% of the job.
And it's the best part.
Yeah, it's the fun part, but the fun part is almost like the one that just comes naturally. But
Yeah.
what's like 80% of the job is actually staying
together.
together.
Well, in the beginning, you kept reminding me I was not the best dude at audition.
I didn't remind you about that. You actually reminded yourself about that.
Oh,
I didn't remember
back,
your
back
audition.
Then you and Joe were like, yeah.
And now Carl's remembering, he's starting to second guess his decisions.
I never second guess my decision. If I do, I drink.
I want to do a quick exercise then, because I've got 3 people sitting on my casting couch tonight.
There's the first one.
Do we have to
I mean,
clean
it's
this?
getting hot in here. Is it just me?
Take it off. I'm gonna split into two. What would your two biggest pieces of advice to a newcomer?
I'm going to take first.
That wasn't really worded very well.
No,
but
that's
what would
I
be
pick
your
up what you
top
put down.
two pieces of advice you would give to an up-and-comer musician, someone wanting to start a band and all that kind of jazz?
Okay, can I take lead on this?
Yeah, you go first.
I've been in a band for over like 17 years, and this one going on about since 2009. So it's just
I was going to
about
ask that
a
question.
decade.
So you guys have been around 2009.
Yep.
Just before, I think the band was around a bit before me.
Okay.
But like again,
it's a good 10 years.
Yeah, and again, it's as soon as the band starts with member change, you got to go back down. We've had this like ebb and flow of not fucking doing a lot of stuff other than changing fucking members, But my best advice and what I've learned in my 20 odd years of gigging and being in bands and stuff like that is, if you find something good, irrespective of the hardships that you can do, if it gives you some personal satisfaction, stay together. I think a lot of people are a bit misguided, because in this country, if you do enough touring and you put an album out or two, you can get your name out there quite easy, especially with the power of social media and stuff like that now. Much easier than it was 15 years ago kind of thing, But a lot of people think they're going to make it, like within 2 years. And if they don't, they kind of disband. I always remember my old man saying to me, like when he saw that every bit of pocket money I would spend on drumsticks or skins, I wouldn't do my fucking homework. I'd go straight into my drum kit and I would just practice for like 3 hours a day, even before I could play drums. Like I don't know what the fuck I was doing, just and it's because, and he asked me, he's like, why do you do all of this? He's like, you want to like be famous, you want it to the world and all that kind of stuff. And my basic answer was, I love music so much that it makes me feel something, that it makes me feel this urge to create my own. And if you stay true to that, I think, irrespective of where your success is,
maintain your sense of purpose.
Then like my dad said to me, he's like, if you stay true to that, you'll always be happy, you'll always be successful, because it's not about all the peripheral shit that the world like kind of like tries to, like influence you on, it's a really raw feeling, like when you listen to a song and you get goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, what does that do for you? It just makes me want to get behind a kit and like play a song that can make me get goosebumps. And then when you realize that you're actually giving some other people goosebumps as well, then it's like, Jesus, fuck, okay, game on. I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing it. So stay together, work through the hardships, and evolve. Don't.
Because you get a lot of hotheads around as well.
You do. That's the thing.
He's not going to make practice, and I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
And I will admit it. I'm one of those guys. If we've arranged a practice or whatever, and it falls through, I sulk about it.
Yeah.
And I've always been that kind of person. I've always been a bit of a hothead in that situation. To dovetail on that, and it's probably going to be one of your 6 of to each. Be patient.
Yeah, be patient.
Yeah.
Very much so. And look, again, it's you're never too old to get up on stage. If you're physically enabled, if you can stand, even if you've got a microphone.
Keep telling yourself that, bro.
I'm talking about myself here. Okay? But at the same point, I mean, like Buddy Rich, I watched a fucking drum solo with him when he was like 74.
Yeah, dude.
And he was playing way faster than I ever did. At
Heart
74.
attack.
Yeah, it's like, what I'm trying to say is that, if music is that powerful to you and that means that much to you, persevere. Be determined. Put in the work, put in the effort, because nothing in life is free and nothing is easy. It's like, even if you get a easy break early on, that opportunity, you got to maintain it. You know what I mean? It's like, look, again, I love my football, so I always revert back to like, football teams.
Sure.
You win the league. It's one thing winning the league. It's another thing defending
your
it.
team?
You're Man United.
Get out.
Always. Go.
I'd
Who's your
I'm
team?
joking. I don't really have a team, but
Okay, well, you can't
Well,
even
then
fucking say
void.
that.
most of my mates are well. I mean,
Maybe
if
it's
I had,
Gunners or Liverpool, right?
no,
Chelsea.
no,
Get out.
no, never mind.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that it's one thing winning it, it's another thing defending it. So
Yes.
even once you've got your break, nobody's going to fucking spoon feed you. You got to go out and you got to improve. You got to do better. And you only do that if you want to. People only do things that they generally want to. So if music's a really big thing for the Lighties coming up, the band that you're in now might not be the last band you're in it's the first band you're in, but it doesn't need to be the last. And if shit fucks out, continue, find new people.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, the focus is on getting the group of people together for that.
But if you got something good going, then you got to harp on that as well. You know?
Look, also seize the opportunity. You know, everybody likes to do this fucking everything out of the comfort of their own home, or like when they feel like it. But you know, when the opportunity arises, take it, seize it, but
Sure.
you know, ride the bull by the horns.
Sure. Ollie?
Quite nicely moving on from yours. The first one would be reevaluate your measure of success. Like going into it hot-headed and everything. Like it's not necessarily what you thought it was. Well, not even monetary. Just because you walk down somewhere in Long Street and some dude doesn't know your band doesn't mean you haven't made it. You know, it's
That strikes a nerve, but you're
right.
No,
Like,
it strikes a nerve
because-
because I actually saw something on Facebook today that Patrick Davidson posted. We won't get too much into that because that is a conversation that can
If it
go
looks like
whole-
I plagiarized, I swear to God I didn't read that.
It was, as he said, verbose. But I'm not going to talk about it now because obviously you guys would have had to read it, etc. It was quite extensive.
read
But the general perception is that you're not the center of it,
Yeah. It's not about you.
and I
It's-
appreciated that. So shout out Patrick Davidson.
Yeah.
Always
Legend.
a shout out to Patrick.
Always
Let's
a
have
shout out.
drink to
Okay,
Patrick.
cheers.
To Patrick.
Patrick.
Had to get every cling there,
Every chinkling.
and then just carry on. What you're saying?
So, reevaluate what you thought success was. Because for me, I don't know, I could rank it as like, I've totally failed based on record sales and monetary value and everything. But just being a part of this has been fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And there is no way in hell in this life or any other one that I would have gotten to share a stage with Cannibal Corpse, Hatebreed, Septic Flesh, Ailstorm, and dude, like doing that Witchfest 2015.
Yeah.
There is no way in hell. And to me, that's dude. When you're like walking around drunk as shit in the production office at Witchfest, and you just like chest to chest bump into fucking George Fisher as he's walking out of an office, I'm like, oh no, dude. I sort of like drunkenly assaulted the vocalist of Ailstorm as he was leaving the stage as well.
Also drunkenly assaulted place.
So yeah,
Learn something new every
to
day about your
me,
band.
being just a part of an entity that was occupying the same stage space on the same weekend as like the Titans.
That's gold,
dude,
my friend.
Dude, that list went on. There was Carnifex was there. Fucking every dude, it was
Ring
mental.
them off. Let's talk about it.
Sorry. I know Brett's going to be next about the
Yes.
but just on that, we
I'm gonna let you finish, but
we played third at that Witchfest, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't like play
like
just
2:15
before,
in
just
the
after
afternoon.
any of these big bands. But again, the whole ethos of the metal crowd is like I got to speak to the people we were backstage.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's just like so you really feel part of that fucking brotherhood of people just
Yeah, it was mental.
screaming their shit out and fucking like you know what I mean. It's
No,
rad.
totally.
It's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
dude.
quickly, just name some of the
Oh,
bands.
dude,
quickly.
it was a while
Which-
ago.
Which fest?
It was Carnifex, Hatebreed, Epica, Ailstorm, Septic Flesh, Flesh God Apocalypse, Cannibal Corpse.
Shout out Jamie Jaster.
Ailstorm.
He's got a
James.
podcast too.
Oh, dude,
Not
I honestly,
quite
I'm
next
probably
level.
missing a few, but like, goddamn, it was like a religious
We
experience
also
for
played
me.
with Darkest Hour. At
Yeah,
Assembly.
that was dude. I got
Yeah, I
wasted
missed
with
that
John
one.
Henry. That was amazing.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about that. But Brett, give me your
Wow,
two.
piece of advice number 2.
Oh shit, we haven't even got to number 2. Sorry,
Just,
man.
Like taking music seriously, don't take yourself so seriously. And it's a piece of advice my dad gave me years ago. And it's like, you started playing guitar because you wanted to play guitar. You're doing it for you. If you're lucky enough to write a song that 100 people, 5 people, 100 million people dig, that's cool. That's a fucking bonus. But don't ever do it for anyone else than you.
So that's a, like almost like inherent selfish approach, but if you don't go that route, if you're not doing it for you, it's not natural and people don't respond to that.
Yeah.
You know?
it's really weird how we're all gonna basically talk about the same similar thing, but from
Well,
slightly
it's
different
nice
angles.
to hear it from different angles.
Yeah, I think
it's nice to
And
we're on the
I've
same
got
page.
all the time in the world.
Me too. I've got
I
a
mean-
bottle of vodka we haven't even opened
there we go.
yet.
that's
There we go.
close.
Mine's starting to
There's
look a little
many
bit
hours
thin.
left to go.
So let's listen to your advice there, Brett.
So I think my biggest one, it's almost it's not static, it's not consistent, let's put it that way.
Okay.
But find the music, find the style, find the vibe you want to do. And then stick with it. Not forever, but
Sure.
So find the thing you want to do. And the reason I bring this up is I know so many guys who enjoyed what they did, got into a band, played well, part of a rad band, and then when it was done, they never touched an instrument again. And that strikes me so unusual personally. Because in my head, there's something that will resonate with you right when you find it, when you get into it, when you start enjoying it.
Sure.
And once you find that vibe, it's something that's going to make you want to keep getting
Yes.
involved with it. That's not to say don't experiment. That's not to say don't join bands for shits, giggles, and fun whatsoever. But keep a lookout and keep an ear out for the stuff that like fucking hits you right in here, you know?
Sure.
And then it might be different when you're 18. It might change when you're 20 or 25. It might change when you're 35. But when you find it, stick with it. And that takes me to like my next point. When you get to that point, take it seriously. I know so many guys, and I've been that person
so
beforehand, where you love what you're doing, you have a hint of a talent, like you got something there, and you take that shit for granted. You know, once you find it, you start doing it, and you just assume because you're doing it, and because you enjoy doing it, and because people enjoy you enjoying doing it,
It lasts forever.
yeah, it lasts forever, and that's a job done.
No.
But to Ollie's point, it's not always about the people you're doing it for. When you find that thing that you love, there's no greater satisfaction than performing and impressing yourself. So find a vibe. If you love it, stick with it. If you're sticking with it, practice it and try and impress yourself
It's always
before
the
you
first
impress
step
other
to impress
people.
other people as well. If you can't impress yourself, what are the chances of you impressing other people?
I mean, I think
You
we've
know?
all been in that vibe when you come off and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what a great show!" And inside you're like, "That was a cuck show."
And then every band, they're like, I played so shit and everything like this. And the person's just like trying to give you compliments and you shut them down. You know?
Yeah.
And we've also, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there's been times when I've walked off a gig and it was a small crowd and the response was average, but I'm like, fuck, that was great. That was
amazing.
Like,
Yeah,
that was
dude.
amazing. And that's the
So
person you
many
should perform for
times.
first.
That was
I
my
mean,
Saturday.
Just for instance, there was this one show where there was a raw show and it was we organized it badly and there ended up being like 20 people odd there, and that turned out being one of my best shows ever because we called everybody up on stage in the last two songs and absolutely ripped it. You get those moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Um,
And sometimes it's weird shit. It's like, it's if sitting at home watching TV, do a little warm up or do a little practice. Like, keep it constantly in the back of your head so you're not just doing it when you're performing or when you have to. Like, make it a part of something you want to do.
Jump in here because it's quite
Bless you.
connected to this band specifically. Like, you know, as Brett said, you know, there's a lot of people that will get something good going, and then, you know, when they feel like it's, you know, run its course, then they disappear. Our main songwriter for the band, Jacques, when he started Bulletscript again, he hadn't picked up guitar for almost a decade. You know, and when I auditioned, he played guitar, and then he told me this, and I was like, how the fuck can you not play for a decade and that's what you play? The point is that time is time, you know? It's never, again, as I said to you, it's never too late to start. So even if you've got to a point and you've let it go for a bit, you know, if it's something that means something to you, just, you know, try it again, pick it up again.
Definitely.
You might find that actually it's something you've been missing for the last few years.
Do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
There we go.
That is a
You
lie.
know? Well,
Do what you love and you will work. If you're doing what you love, you'll work as hard as possible to continue loving it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you do what you love but you never work a day, you're the guy sitting in the back going, the band's going to make it, guys, right?
But the point I'm trying to illustrate is that if you feel that strongly about something, there's always going to be this urge to do something about it.
Yes.
You know, so whether 5 years go by or 10 years go by, you're going to do something about it. And I think, again, that's like Ollie's dad said, like my dad said, is you didn't start this to be up there on the stage. You started it because you loved music, you picked up an instrument, you realized, shit, okay, I can start playing something now. And you love Atlantic South, and you know what I mean. It's just like it's a hobby, but it's a hobby that you can take professionally.
Sure.
And you don't need to measure in monetary success.
Yeah.
In fact, that's actually an interesting story. I mean, some people talk about boats and how boats are holes in the ocean you just throw money into. And I wish some of those people had ever played in a goddamn band. Because you want to talk about passion. Oaks will be in a band for 10, 15 years, and you'll release albums, you'll put stuff online, you'll make posters, play gigs, and you will never see a cent. I'd love to see the capital deficit of bands across the
They
country.
released one of those bloody
Some people
articles
spend
the other
their
day
money
on
on
like 43 billion and they only get like 12% or
Well, I
something
mean,
like that.
I can make two very strong parallels there. This band has had every opportunity to call it, but we haven't because we felt the music was always drawing us. to
Amen,
it.
brother. That's awesome.
You know, and the music the band was writing. So I mean, Jacques, our main songwriter, me and him would get together and do stuff. But we've also engineered this band into. I mean, we auditioned guitarists, we auditioned vocalists, and
They made two terrible decisions.
well, no, not actually, because
Well, we're gonna listen to something first, but carry on with that. We're gonna close on.
Well, again, and in half price. I mean, we've been going for about 17 odd years, and I mean, Marcus went away for 2 years. Pete went on a round the world trip, all this kind of stuff. Where you're given reasons to stop, but we didn't, and you got to ask yourself why. And it's because I've asked myself, okay, I can either stop and get some more free time. How does that make me feel? Fucking shit. I can continue putting myself through all of this. How does it make me feel? Tired and like overwhelmed, but I feel like I've filled that hole.
Yeah, you feel like you've done something.
I felt like I've set out what I'm going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, if you don't have that feeling where the music's not doing for you, then try something else. But if you get that, don't wait to play in front of 20,000 people.
Yeah, do it now.
Don't wait to play in front of one person. Do it in your bedroom. Start going.
do it now.
Do it. Just do it now.
100%.
Pause this video and then go and do it, and then come back to the video and carry on.
Post your attempts in the comments.
That's another thing that I obviously you know that I apologize profusely to you on the last episode.
I know, I was quite stoked about that. I actually even sent you a message. I thought no apology was needed.
Yeah, well, thank you for the message.
What did
I
you
appreciate
apologize
it.
for?
Because we were meant to come on and we couldn't. Well, we didn't.
Well, we didn't because of me.
Yes.
Because I hadn't got that beautiful piece of machinery just yet.
But I made you work for it because to get the 3 microphones plus move the couch on, you know. I think
Hey, bro.
we even Stevens.
Anything for you guys, especially for a veteran of Papa G's house.
Shit,
but I just fuck, you made me lose my train of thought now.
It's okay. He does that to everyone.
But that's another reason why I really wanted you guys to come on. We're gonna talk after the break about Brett's introduction into the band and all that kind of jazz, but that you guys are so dedicated to being a solid unit, not just being a band, not just releasing stuff, not just like getting together on the weekends to write some stuff, not just the list goes on of what I could say, not just for, but the fact that you guys stick together, you've been through it. I've had many a nights with Olly, and we've had deep chats.
So is the rest of Cape Town.
I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones at least. But on that note,
Were you one of the first 10 maybe?
Well, how long have you been
number
in
11?
Bulletscript for, Olly? When did you join Bulletscript?
4.5 years ago.
Okay. Well, you've been around for quite some time now.
Oh, yeah.
But on that note, I want to feature Primordial. This is one of your previous releases.
Yeah. Primordial was actually quite a signal in the shift of the band because with new members coming on, although it's got some of the old members on, you could hear like the band changing a slight direction. You know what I mean? And what's really nice, if you hear Primordial and the new stuff, I suppose it makes sense for me, but it almost seems like with the newer stuff, we've actually, the direction we were trying to go in, we've got the right members now to go.
But isn't that this is a nice platform in order to communicate that as well?
It was a good segue.
It's to show you, to say, hey, this is not that in any way we're talking about, it's better music or whatever the case may be. But the fact that you're on a journey.
Yeah.
And that there is a check. I'm giving myself goosebumps already. There's a journey. You reach that point in your journey, and now you've reached a new chapter.
Yeah, we see that's the thing. I mean, it's
right
not
turn.
like, and I'm not trying to like say that like our music is the best. But what's been really rad is that, irrespective of member changes, is that we've always felt the music brings us back.
It's the hero.
The music is what's keeping us going, and this
People
changes.
keep rocking up.
I mean, like Jacques and I used to sing. It's just the two of us because we get to practice. It's just the fucking two of us. You know? But even though the band goes through changes, and members by circumstantial ways go and stuff like that, is that the other members that come in, it's like it's a tall order. Okay, you got to practice twice a week. We've got this. You need this. You know what I mean? It's like without getting too like fucking.
Yeah, you guys are skinnering already, eh?
No, but without getting into it, fuck you. You used to have transport, now you don't. That's one of our first rules, But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that we haven't given up because the music has demanded that we stay.
Yeah.
And we've luckily found members that have felt the same about the music,
Yeah.
even though the members have changed. So to get everybody to feel the same about the project gives us confidence to keep going.
Totally.
Even when you feel like you got the fucking whole world against you, you just want to literally fucking pack your bags, run with your tail between your legs. We haven't, and that's a testament to. Again, I was saying, it's not that it's the best music, it's what the music means to us. What it makes us feel, what it makes us want to do, where we want to go. And with the you guys, they're laughing at me now. I know they're true, they just drink Savannah.
It's Reds, actually.
Okay, no, they're definitely not hardcore.
He bought it for me.
Listen, stop plugging bloody alcohol brands on my podcast. No,
Well,
I'm only joking.
I mean, if they
Well, we are big supporters of alcohol. Let's just say that right there and then.
No,
Bulletscript
100%.
endorsed by
All right, so we're gonna have a quick break, and we are going to listen to Primordial by Bulletscript. Enjoy, guys. We'll see you after the break.
Sweet.
Step into the straight and time. Maybe I can slip it in. On. I can do it better. On, down. On.
All right. That was Primordial by Bulletscript, dudes. A classic. A good old classic.
A modern classic.
You know, new vibes, but it's a classic. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Awesome
it's
stuff.
It's a banger.
It is, but it's also the signal of the band going in a slightly different
Sure.
direction.
It's been cut from the set.
Has it? No.
Possibly.
Well, it's been
We
cut
don't
from
know.
a set because we haven't been fucking practicing it. So it's probably one of the least songs that we can play that well now, you know. Well, except for Left 4 Dead and Politics and anything with Knotted.
Keep an eye out for
But it
politics.
signals the change in the band.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, with the new members and that kind of stuff, going in a bit of a different direction.
Sure.
But maybe that's...
Yes,
Well,
no,
well,
totally. That's what I want to say.
actually-
I want to talk about the process of the when you first lost, or when Ian left the band, and what your process was going into finding a new vocalist, or your selection process, or whatever the case may be, because I find you the perfect fit. With
thank you.
and I don't mean that in you know, I tend to.
Dude, look at this guy. He thinks there
You
was a,
said it all. You said it all,
look
bro.
at this guy. He thinks there was a process.
Okay, so, but you're a perfect fit.
Thank you, man.
And that's being honest. I'm not here to float any boats or to whatever the case.
Polish some knobs.
There we go. Polish some knobs. But I really do feel, especially after listening to the song that we're going to listen to next, Enemy,
Yes.
which is the title of your EP, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, but before we get there, if there was a process, tell me about it.
Should we come up with one now, quickly?
Quickly make one up. Make us look good, bro.
Well, look, I mean, obviously, you know, a new member leaving, the band's got to take restock. You've
Sure.
got to. I would say that replacing a vocalist is probably probably the hardest thing, because as a vocalist, you've got the sort of
All the tonality. I mean, you can play a D, I can play a D. It's going to sound like a D.
Yeah.
A vocalist has his own like flavor.
and also, you know, you want your vocalist to have a bit
Jeez,
of
that's
that.
a good way to look at it.
Yeah, you want your
It is.
vocalist to have, you know, some charisma. You want them to have, you know, something that the crowd can attach to and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I suppose we started off with, okay, well, our lead singer's left. Does the band still continue? Straight out, yes. Everybody wants to continue. Cool. So we know the music's good. Now we need to come up with like a brief, a couple of songs, and we need to audition some people. So we came up with a few songs, and in Brett's defense, he nailed the brief perfect.
Check your face, bro. You just listen.
There was nothing to defend in the first place.
Because we made the mistake. Our brief was testing the range,
Yeah.
but that's not what the band was doing. You know what I mean? It's like the band was actually surprisingly, while we wanted to, Brett's the vocalist we always wanted.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Like, with no offense to our previous vocalist, he can sing. He's got a lot of charisma on
Insane
stage.
frontman, yeah.
You know, he engages with the crowd. It's everything that we wanted.
He gets the.
But as Brett,
seppuku eyes, I
Brett
call
will,
them seppuku,
no,
like
but as Brett will
crazy
agree,
eyes.
like when you start playing with the music demands a certain approach.
Yes.
You know, and with any new member, that takes some time.
Yeah.
And we auditioned a couple of other guys, but again, the skill set, as you said earlier, it's not the be all and end all. We want somebody that we can hang with, that we can feel comfortable, that we can speak truly, speak honestly. And he nailed it. You know, like actually, all four of us were blown away when Brett came to the audition. You know, and he was the second audition that we had. And we were all looking at it. The next thing was like, okay, dude, you in the band. You know what I mean? It was
Sick,
like,
man. That is just such
It
a
was
cool
really
way.
weird. It was like by the end
Right.
of the practice, they were kind of like,
okay, so
so
you
this
in.
feels good, right?
Hey, dude, you want to be in the band?
That's what it is, because everything we had been looking for, although that wasn't what the direction the band was going
Totally.
right now.
Meanwhile, if they had kept like interviewing people for a while longer. God knows what they could have found, but yeah.
No, yeah, but we felt good
perfect.
about it. We felt good about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and then the maintenance of the relationship ensues. You know, again, like, it's just, oh, my phone's fucking going, you piece of shit. Very happy, like, you know, so like the primordial was a signal of the change. I think
Yeah.
whether one can get all fucking spiritual about it or whatever, but obviously on a subconscious level, the band was moving in a different direction. Some members dropped off, we got new members, and that direction got amplified with the new members. So they took it to heart. They took they took that where the band was going.
So you just found a new
and they
force.
catapulted it where we needed it to go. It takes work. It takes practice. It takes a lot of stuff to get there. But if everybody's on the same page, then like as Brett said, now in the last couple of months, the last half of last year, we really felt this build up. Okay, for years this band's trying to like be on the map, and we've kind of got there almost, but then somehow we've dropped off by whatever reason. Now we don't have any of those feelings at all. Like we've arrived. And by God, this is not the end of it. No, we're just getting fucking started.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. It's so cool and so inspiring to hear that after all that, and after 2009,
yeah,
after all that, just to be trucking on, and then Olly comes along. There's a new force that's injected into the vibe, and then it happens, and then Brett. It's basically Brett. It's not a situation where you're like, okay, we're gonna groom him to be exactly what we want. He came in perfect, exactly what we need. Okay, let's go.
He was perfect. Okay, but,
Yeah, I think.
Go well.
He was perfect in the sense that whatever we were looking for in terms of
Terrible
what we
question.
said-
A beautiful question.
You're gonna tear this band apart.
This is one of the things that, like, I think are a testament to our band surviving with all the tribulations we have to go through, because we speak this openly and honestly with the people in it, and nailed the brief 100%. After that first practice, we were like, geez, Enough's never sound that good. That fucking Stone Sour cover has never sounded that good.
Which was,
like everything, like it was
Absolute Zero.
Absolute Zero.
Wow.
And just like we were just like shit. And what it told us is that, like, if we wanted to go on the singing approach, he can fucking nail it. If we wanted to go on the Enough approach and what Ian did with the growl stuff, he can nail it. You know what I mean?
There was primordial.
And like any new person, you got to find your feet. I mean, it's for example, like it took Olly and JJ a fair amount of time to bring something of their own to a room. No, it did.
No, it really did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm laughing at it.
Look, we won't go into details, but like, do you know what I mean? It's like as a new member of a band, like you want to like whatever they gave you to do, that's what you want to nail.
It's also intimidating, in a way.
It's quite funny because
We all have
I
our
don't
own
find myself
experiences.
intimidating. I find myself quite goofy. Jacques can be intimidating, but he's like, never mind.
Jacques terrifying.
How
Jacques the sweetest, man.
Jacques is the sweetest.
He's 5.4 feet.
so scary. But like,
And that's an awful lot of fantastic stand-up man.
but like, I think to build on where Carl's going with that, like,
Please build up on something. I think I'm just taking a whole.
no, but for myself coming into it, and I think I've been very open with the last few interviews we've done, like the last Metal for Africa is one. Like, I realized very quickly coming into the band, as well as the audition may have gone, that I had a shit ton of catching up to do.
Okay.
In the break, we were chatting briefly about my old band, All Guns Full Ammo.
Yes.
And if you listen to what I'm currently doing now and what I was doing back then, it's not even like a step in different direction. It's two completely
It's just
different
nowhere
styles of
near the
vocals.
same thing at all.
And as much, I was having such a good time in that audition, and I was enjoying the music so much, and I think that's why I spoke earlier on about like fucking putting in the effort, that I realized the last, how many years, 10 years of playing and singing in bands wasn't actually going to cut it. And I had to start experimenting with a new way of singing. And that's why I whispered sarcastically about Primordial earlier on, because oddly enough, that was the song that most encapsulated the jump that I would have to do, I think, vocally. I mean, I could get away with my last style of vocals doing the Enoughs,
Left 4
and
Deads,
the Left 4 Deads and stuff like that. But there's no way my old style of vocals could
Presented that
translate
challenge
into
to,
Primordial.
you know,
And that's where that real throat balling practice had to come. And again, speaking to you earlier on, it took a long time, you know. And the guys are supportive as all hell and really nice, but there were days where I was straight up terrible.
I'm very interested in the process that you took, though, especially from a vocalist point of view. Remember, I hope there's listeners, but I want them to hear what your process was in getting yourself to that point.
Honestly, one of the biggest things that I did was pick a band that sort of I felt encapsulated the next step I needed to do, and for a long time that was Machine Head, actually, specifically the about Enter the Locust album, and his ability to actually, I don't want to say shout sing because that's not true, but create a terrifying guttural tenor to the voice. Which for
something
me,
that doesn't seem so compressed as like a and not so open as like a high singing. Somewhere like that middle ground where you got the elements of all three of it.
Sure,
you know
exactly. I mean, and there's this thing with the throat balling and Alan.
What do you refer to as throat balling?
So throat balling is generally deep, like. But it's
That's pig inhaling.
Not inhaling, but the exhaling. So the best way to describe it, like Alan Simmons, the old sound guy from Raw.
Young sound guy.
The young sound guy.
Joking.
He used to come up and tell me, it's like when I was doing the gruff screaming like that. He's like, stop shouting into the mic. You know, you get your resonance like. It's like more about creating that timbre in your voice and keeping it the mic close and volume low, and then he can project it. But that was never going to be the way that I sung. Coming from All Guns, where projection was a big thing, and one of the things I love most about performing is projection. I knew I'd have to say it again.
But you've got a natural, very natural rasp to your voice.
Exactly.
You've got a natural.
as Brett put it to me in our early days, he's got a very nice timbre to his voice. Timbre is the way to.
Timber.
But it's true, because whether you go gruff or you sing or you do anywhere in between, if you don't have like just something like,
am I telling a man that I love his voice?
I've told this man many more than that, dude. Don't worry about
Timber.
it. Stand in fucking line, actually.
And that's why Primordial becomes so interesting, because Primordial was the one I had to start singing completely differently, and I had to start singing like that internal sort of gruffness and creating that throat balling vibe. But then as we started progressing into our new songs, into our Lacerates, into our Enemies, into the Killers, which is our newest track, it became a process.
Mr. Brightside.
Huh?
What's that?
Oh, no, Mr. Haven't you heard our Mr. Brightside cover? It is the bomb. But it was just taking that low, soft, guttural gruffness and just trying to push it further and get it louder and louder and louder. And it's probably just incredibly bad for my voice just to project.
Projection.
So were you given a pretty hard time in the studio?
Oddly enough, no. The studio was surprisingly okay. Everything up
Olly
until the studio.
I feel like the response to that question is fairly subjective. Like for what he considers as a picnic, like we might consider like a trial and
Giving him a
tribulation.
hard time.
I'm gonna come clean here. There were a few things. There were a few things that I was worried about in terms of the album. Just again, or the EP. Just again, like where I see it, to where Jacques sees it, to what Olly sees it. These are often they're very closely connected. But just in terms of circumstance and stuff like that, there were things that I was a bit worried about.
I wasn't a fan of the high screams to begin with.
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan of metal screeching, like, you know what I mean? I like guttural, I like deep, I like warmness in a voice, you know what I mean? So if you're singing warm, I like it, you know, in the more lower tone. If you're doing the growl, I like it a bit lower. Not where you can't hear the fucking pronunciation of the words, but you know what I mean? And Brett came in and he nailed it at the studio. It's like there's something that I thought that previous, I mean, take Ian, for example, and this is I'm not trying to say anything bad about Ian because I thought he was a stellar vocalist, but we had really worked. When we were recording, he was in Devon's studio, DDM studio, and his vocal booth is pretty fucking small. And Jock and I really worked him. We went through like every word, every like line, trying this pronunciation, stuff like that. So I was expecting something like that. Just again, it's not about what I want. It's not about what you want. It's what the music needs.
It's what's best for the song.
You know, it's what's best for the song. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to polish a knob here, but Brett he came to the party. He fucking took the bus and kicked the driver out and drove it.
But I don't,
you know what I mean?
I don't think bands do that enough. To
Push
be
each
honest
other.
with you, to be
Push each
brutally
other,
honest
force
with
each
you, the way I see it is I'm not just saying I'm not referring to my projects in any sort of fashion.
You can if you want to, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, but in chapters or in stages throughout the careers of those projects, there may have been points in time where that happened. But I feel that there's less of a group effort these days because of technology and because of you able to Skype and because you're able to Dropbox and Google Drive
It
and
almost like
all these
removes
kind of
you
things.
from like that.
It
vibe
takes the
inside.
personal factor away from it,
Absolutely,
where
yeah.
everybody has their individual role. Individual role.
Can I jump
But-
in on this idea for
Yeah,
a second?
sure. But just to finish is that everybody has their individual role where you slap it together, where it's just put together as a piece. Where it should be more of we're writing a song. The song requires a certain candor, whatever the
Thing, a
Can't
vibe.
do
It requires
there is a
Escape.
certain
finger on it.
there's a certain texture that it needs. The lyric content needs to be in this direction because that's the kind of aggression or non-aggression or whatever the case may be. It needs to be looked at as a whole and not as just parts.
Yeah.
Carry on, Olly.
Doing this last EP was the first time I'd like properly written like solos and that kind of shit for
Yeah.
anything to do with script. And before we did the pre-prod for this, like take Lacerate for example. We've been playing that song for
A year
I don't
plus.
a year
2
plus.
years. Look, it's changed
And-
a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
And then like we'd never really done any pre-prod on it. And then when we started preparing it for this EP, I just for the pre-prod just played what I'd always played. And it was the first time I'd heard it back and I was like, oh fuck. I actually played that shit live.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it. And then like take it back and like analyze it and then re-record it. And then because I don't really have any software, any that at home. So
Tech, bruh.
Tech, brah. Yeah, so then I went and spent a night with Jacques up in Tableview and just talk about ideas and just having someone say like, yeah, that's cool, that's faster. Can you make that faster? Can you make that slower? Can we really tailor this to what's best for the music and have that interaction to create what's just not a print it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
And actually just work at the proper moments and dude, it was a fucking nightmare to be honest with you because it was
I
like
can
faster,
imagine.
slower, just stretch that bit and it really made that process really helps me become
Better.
a more all-rounded musician and dude like take criticism like, it's
It's
cool
only ever
like,
beneficial.
your idea isn't the best idea that's ever happened
Totally.
and if you think that you're a
You've got to
fucking
be kind of
idiot.
humble in the situation. What were you going to say?
What I was
Brett?
going to say over there is that speaks directly to what I said earlier on when I said actually the recording process wasn't so hard, but the building up to it was hectic. Out of any other band I've ever been in before, the pre-prod process that these guys go through is fantastic. We basically
That's a new way of describing it, but I
we-
like where you're going
oh,
with this.
horrifying and terrible and draining.
There we go. Okay. No, that's kind of
but
pre-prod
fantastic
too.
because it means like by the time you're actually making it in a studio, you know what it's supposed to sound like. You know what you're going
Yeah.
for. You've had 4 assholes sitting in a room 2 doors down, speaking at your ear, going, "That's cocked right again." You know. So by the time you actually get to the studio, everyone has an understanding of what this song needs to sound like and how it needs to come across. And yeah, there's bits and pieces here and there that we can change, but the majority of the work has been done. And it's such a rad way to put an album together. Most of the bands I've been in up to this point, you write the songs, you practice them to death, absolutely, but then you get into studio and you only really hear it properly
In the studio.
when it comes to the box.
Sure.
I mean, I'd heard 9 versions of all these different songs before we even set foot in the studio this time around.
It's the pre-production process is paramount. Like if I think any international band, you record demos, you see how they sound, and the last thing you want to do is hear how you sound for the first time while you're busy spending the money in a pro
Totally.
studio. I mean, going back to like earlier versions, it's every member in this band has only really kicked themselves in gear when they've actually. There's my fucking phone again. When they've actually
there's an off button.
No, when they've actually heard themselves and heard how much work they need to do. by myself. Like when I first got to try to do the first bit of drum track just to go along with Jacques' guitar, just a riff, not even the whole song. And you're playing with the metronome, so there's that as well. I mean, being a self-taught musician, that presents its challenges. But then when I hear what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is very automatic, because I've been playing for quite some time, I'm very comfortable in the way I play and all that kind of stuff. But is that best for the song? I think I hear what I'm doing. I'm like, actually, no, it's not. Same with his leads, same with his vocals, same with JJ's bass.
And the great thing is,
it's like, I mean, I remember actually at Mercury, Brett came up to me, and it was the first time he had heard himself with the band, and it wasn't he was doing anything wrong. He just looked at me. He's like, he really appreciated the appreciated, but he's like, like, I'm surprised you guys. I wouldn't go as far as saying fired me kind of thing, but it just the realization that he was like that. No, the realization that like, and it's not just the realization how much more work I would put. It's that I want to do it. I want to put in that work, and that.
But it's exactly
that's
when
what
you
any
hear
band
yourself.
member or any person trying to get a band going or try to get it. That's all you can ask for your members. Because it's like, I know what I need to do. I can see it's a fucking mountain to climb. Yeah. But I'm here.
And because when you hear yourself and when you've gone through it enough times that it's not just what the rest of the band sounds like, but you know what you're supposed to sound like.
Yes.
You start taking a hell of a lot more pride in making sure you get it right.
Absolutely.
And an interesting example was when we were in studio.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this says about the other bands that have recorded with him, but Dean, I can't remember the part we were recording, but I recorded one part and it sounded funky to me. He was like, "Okay, cool, that's great, it's done." I'm like, "Is it?" And he played it back, and I was like, "That doesn't sound quite right." He's like, "No, don't worry, we'll chuck in the auto tune and we'll fix it up." And it was weird. It took a bit of convincing, but like, if it's wrong, just tell me to sing it again.
Just be better.
I'll do it. I'll do it so many more times until I get it right. But just make me do it again.
Point, our newest song, "Killers," right? Jacques was pretty much warming up. I was there at Dean's studio, and he was like, "Just go through a warm-up run." And Jacques didn't think Dean was recording. And Jacques played it first time.
It's like the whole thing.
And then Dean was like, "Cool, done." And Jacques was like,
"Yeah, dude.
I'm not even warmed up, bro." Like, But
Jacques accidentally recorded "Killers."
Yeah,
pretty much.
But again, you got to work with people. And again, sometimes those takes are golden.
I've got to say that I can relate to that, in that your most precious moments are not on record.
Yeah.
I know this. You spend hours and hours and hours, but your warm up or your warm down or just after you finish recording always is the best take.
Dean Bailey's the king of capturing that, where you don't think anything's
Yeah,
happening.
exactly.
But
He's like, just warm up. But he's like busy recording you in the background.
Most of my vocals on Lacerate are from the first take I did.
Oh, crazy, man.
If I could just expand a little bit on the recording process. So we did things a little bit differently this time. Dean did the mix for Primordial. Mm-hmm. Then we sent it to Jacques Stog, who's
Jacques Skog.
There we go, that guy. From Sweden.
Shout out.
And actually, we also sent it to the singer from Threat Signal to do a master of our version. And then we needed, for Primordial, we needed the song to be out on the Tuesday. The guy in Sweden said, "I don't know if I can do it by then."
Typical bands and their fucking deadlines.
Guy in the States, we paid, and he got it there. And then the guy in Sweden sent us at the last minute. Jacques, I remember, at Monday night, at a Hoppers to them, he's like, "Jacques just sent me the guy from Sweden's master."
Holy
and I was
shit.
like, and I listened to it, and I was just like, when you compare, because you go A and B, A and B.
Yeah.
There's something that I like about the European approach to metal. It's just got something a bit more rugged. It's not as polished, but it's certainly polished, if you know what I mean. It's got something.
I completely understand.
Yeah, And we had to tell the guy from Threat Signal that we paid for that we're not going to take, because the guy in Sweden said, "If you're not going to use my version, I'd just like to know
What
why."
is it with Swedish musicians, eh?
Dude,
Olly England, Per Nielsen.
You just can't go there. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that we
They are Swedish, eh? I don't sound like
Dean, we got Dean to mix, and so we wanted to work with Dean again.
Yeah.
That guy he's a ninja. He's really good, dude. And you know what? He's such a rad guy to work with. Again, it's not just your skill set. It's like the environment you create for musicians to come and express their music.
I can imagine. Sorry to. I just want to say something with regards to Dean Bailey.
Can we have a drink to Dean Bailey quickly?
100%. Cloud Studios. Am I right?
Yeah, Cloud Studios. Yeah.
It must be because obviously we share a mutual band member in Charles Knight and Pullen, Sabretooth.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah. So, obviously, Charles has been in Atlantic South for 2 years or what,
Is it
2 and
2
a half
years already?
Yeah, it's been
Really?
it's been a while. Yeah.
God
Not that
damn.
much older than fuck.
we your age, brother.
I know, we're the same. Except
Yeah,
you don't have
yeah,
as much
same
grey
year
hair
and
as I
everything.
do. And actually, I think I've got a bigger belly than you. You just...
Oh, please.
No, but
Okay,
you-
well, we're
you-
not
you're
going to start
stuck-
comparing
Oh,
whose
why not?
belly's bigger.
There's 4
here,
guys
brother.
in a room. Let's just
Why
be
do you
honest
think
with
I
each
have
other.
my leg up here? So I'm trying to hide. But I understand the level in which those guys operate. The first year, even year and a half with Charles was constant paranoia.
You thought you were going to get fired from your own band.
They think on another level, dude.
But,
been
but
there.
he's taught me so much, and I really appreciate it. Because these guys come with epic knowledge, they come with experience, and Dean, it's like he's like a BMXer dude with all this knowledge.
Did
And
you know
he
what
knows
I
everything.
found with Dean? It's like he's such a rare guy to work with. Like the environment he creates at his house where we record is
So
really
chill.
cool. You feel chilled.
See, but
And-
I see that as I would be so intimidated because I know what he's capable of on the
yeah,
guitar.
that was the thing.
Well, Primordial, I was.
Well, no,
Jacques,
dude,
Jacques and I
even-
were. Hold on, Jacques
I'd
and I-
shit myself.
Jacques and I were a bit apprehensive sending the mix to him. Look, I'm not going to name mention, but we were sending the mix to other people that kind of let us down at the last minute anyway. And I was a bit apprehensive recording with Dean because previous members and back in the day, just knew what level he set. And, if you're not at that level, the first thing you look for is excuses to not want to use the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's very, pedantic about X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. And that's kind of a person that you want. But in my experience with Dean, it hasn't been any of that. And he said, when he was a lot younger in the Sabretooth days, he was very clinical.
Yes.
And in the approach of stuff. But again, in his older, he's been doing recording now for 13 plus years.
He's now on the Sean Koch setup.
Do you see some of the shows that they played?
And- but he's mixing a lot of it, isn't he?
While we were recording the Split,
Half
Midnight
Price
and Half
and
Price
that,
album, he was just before he went on his European tour. Anyway, a bit apprehensive, but my only experiences with Dean is that he does what the song requires. And in terms
Kinda
of
like what we were
DAW
talking
and
about earlier.
kind of just his editing skills stuff, he's so quick, dude. You don't even need to chat to him about that kind of stuff.
When I was, again, you're talking about the Primordial recording, but jump forward to when we were doing our album.
brings me to my point.
Right, because I told Dean this several times because the first time I ever recorded with him, and he started I don't know if I was embarrassing him after a while, but I just kept on saying "Look, this is the easiest recording session I've ever had," and it really is. He makes it feel like a breeze. He
See,
makes
this
it
is the
easy.
thing. It's he's the engineer, and we said to him in the beginning, dude, get involved. We don't want you just to be
Does he
behind.
take the producer role?
He has good ideas.
He doesn't overstep because
Sure.
that's the nice thing about Dean. He's a really intelligent guy. He knows when we're asking for some advice, he'll give it. He also knows not to just put his own
Flavor.
idea or flavor onto
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? He is probably one of the most professional.
He knows how to
engineers
draw that little line in the sand that is just between.
So and look, dude. Again, and it's I was very apprehensive because I'm not a trained musician. I'm not
I
going to
hadn't-
listen
I
to a
hadn't
guy that
noticed.
tells me I can't smoke a joint or drink a beer while I'm trying to track some songs.
Yeah.
And these are all rumors that you heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if I could advise anybody, and also, in terms of what he charges, he's very competitive to what else is out there, and you get such a good experience and a great product.
For sure.
We decided to do the drums not at Dean's place because the size of my fucking enterprise.
Yeah.
You know? I
We've
think-
all seen it.
Yeah, but the one that we used at Milestone is probably the biggest yet. And again,
Sure.
Again, no, it's not a show. No, it's integral. It's
He
integral.
uses it all.
It's
not a
He
competition.
uses every bit.
Plus, let me just add that it's the weirdest fucking thing to see a left-handed.
Was the greatest.
Well, you get
Fuck you,
used to it
don't
after a
answer
while.
It is a weird thing to see a lefty. Hey?
So I said to Dean, we wanted to record with him in his sort of live room. I was like, if I set up the kit, it's going to be kind of wall to wall. and he didn't have enough inputs on his sound cards, and got all technical kind of stuff. So we were asking, okay, what was he going to hire? Anyway, but we've obviously got quite strong ties with Jethro Harris.
What a champion, dude.
Dude, that guy as well, dude. Jethro.
Good
He works
God.
at.
He was
works
involved with the Devil Speak
Devil
Yeah,
Speak.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that was basically
and
all
the
him.
live recording.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out Devil Speak for doing
Dude,
their
yeah,
EP
yeah,
launch live. That was
Dude,
epic.
Jethro. I mean,
Jethro changed the game with where we started this whole process. Like starting with that foundation, like there's no room reverbs or anything on the kit or anything in that.
It's
EP.
all room.
If,
Dude,
Yeah.
if you were
It's
in
actual room.
if you were
It's
in
glorious.
Milestone, hearing Carl's takes in Milestone, and then you hear the recordings, like you're like, oh yeah, it's a cool like reverb. No, it is that room.
It's
dude.
such a
Wow.
powerful.
What
natural
Jethro got
take.
out
I
of
mean,
it was
Jethro
incredible.
helped us out, like in terms of the sort of facility at Milestone. Jethro was our engineer for quite some time, but with the band making whatever kind of money, it's like you got to pay your sound guys and
Sure.
stuff like that. If I could use Jethro for our live sound, and pretty much I would. I
Every
really
time.
rate him that high. I think Jethro Harris,
Dude, he's the
as a
best in
live
the business for
engineer-
me live.
I mean, dude, at Witchfest, and not only Witchfest, what they called Behemoth.
Yeah.
Behemoth
Oh,
wanted
yeah,
to make Jethro their on-stage monitor mixer.
Oh,
They
wow.
wanted to take him overseas and do that kind of stuff.
Jeez.
That's how good this guy is.
Shout out
And-
Jethro Harris.
He's on another level.
more
It is
than
Harris,
that,
eh?
More,
Yeah.
and even again, more than the skill set, what Bulletscript look after is who the fuck you
Just
are.
a rad dude.
Sick.
Dude,
I
so
look
he-
forward to meeting him. I've
Yeah.
never met him
Really?
before.
dude,
No,
oh,
never
man.
met him.
So look, I mean, again, he's been wanting to get us to play at Milestone for a couple of years, but it's never been in the budget. And then
That was a hell of an
when
experience.
Dean said, "Look, like you're going to need to spend quite a bit of money," Dean actually approached Jethro directly, and because Milestone have got the facility to be able to record the kind of drums that I was playing. And what was the raddest thing that I've seen is that usually two engineers butt heads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when one's offering the big studio and all the kind of facilities, and the other one's actually in charge of the recording. You can just see. But both, this is a testament to both guys. They have no ego whatsoever. They work together. They actually, before I even went to go track, they took my drum tech rider, and
They're doing it again.
I have no idea what he's gonna do.
What do we have? Carry on.
They took my drum tech rider and went and met and decided what mics they're going to use and stuff like. So like again, like just that like willingness to work with other people for the greater good of the project
100%.
was fantastic. So we went there on a Saturday evening to set up after a band practice, reskinning. Jethro and record drums without like
That was
new
violent.
skins on every drum. So like fuck,
Serious,
dude.
like he just goes.
So I've
to that
got
kind of
like
detail.
2 kicks, a snare, 4 toms. Like fuck, dude. Ollie came in and we
Yeah,
did it.
because I live close to Carl, and I said, "Yeah, I'll come and help you." Oh shit!
Apparently he
And
likes
I was a
doing it.
vocalist,
You
so I
guys in the
wasn't
southern
included
suburbs,
at
yeah?
all.
But anyway,
Dude,
like,
we're around the
talking
corner
shit.
from you.
Let's get about the recording.
Anyway.
So
What are we talking about, Brett?
No, but wait. Let just carry on what you're saying.
sidestep that conversation completely.
But yeah, just
I'm gonna let you finish. Behind Kyle, I'm a drummer. Have you heard about my kit?
so just finish what you're saying. I wanna ask Brett something quickly, and then I
Please
wanna.
do. Please get the. Can we take this microphone? Can I go outside for a cigarette? Can I go outside for a cigarette?
No. You may not. Not just yet. Okay, but you were on a valid point though. I want you
What I
to
was trying
finish
to
what
say
you're
is what we
saying.
did for this EP is we went differently. We spent the money when we needed to spend the money. We're not a band that likes to use too many VSTs and stuff like that. We'll use technology we can, but a lot
Sure.
of our vibe is in the vibe that the actual
Some real skins,
Real
the
live,
strings,
the
real
real
amps.
drums,
Yeah, you want
51 fitties,
Yes,
And
all
log
of that
vibes.
kind of stuff. You know,
51 fitty.
But the
Every day.
experience that Jethro be able to offer us, like in that Milestone shoe, I mean, I told all the guys in the band. Usually, I only tell the engineer to come when I track drums.
That was an amazing
Yeah.
experience.
I said, guys, this is the pro studio. It's the first time the band's going to be involved in a bit of pro studio. Yeah, you lay the couches behind, all that kind of
Yeah.
But fuck, what an experience, dude. And Jethro and Dean couldn't make it any more easier and better than what it was,
Amazing.
And that
So it was all
again,
like a collab.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And the
that
great thing is, like, when you're in the studio,
that
you
foundation
actually-
just really added to what we were going to do afterwards.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like
just as an observer, when you're actually in the studio in a professional environment and you hear the drums coming through played live, very well, by the way, you get a real hint of like what the album's going to sound like at the end, and it's a really great positive experience because it sounds so kiff and it sounds so perfect and it sounds so whole, and you're like tantalizing is a good example. You hear like, fuck, now I'm excited for what's coming next.
Totally.
You know?
So, on that note, give me your truthful experience as a new member of Bulletscript. You're about to record an EP. You're busy learning old songs. You are writing new songs from your own mind. You're taking old concepts. You're mixing your new concepts in. What was the process like for you?
It's actually interesting
Say
because
it real, bro.
I'm gonna be real, bro.
Please be real.
Gonna be so real. But like,
for real.
it's actually interesting. The 3 tracks on the EP are a really good progression of my time in the band, from Lacerate into Enemy and then into Killers, which I think only the people who at Summerfest would have heard so far. Lacerate was playing off, as the guy said, they were riffs that they'd been playing for like 2 years or so. When I first heard them, I was like, that's fucking kiff. Can I write new lyrics to this? And they were like, yeah, rad. I have no idea what the song used to be called. But that was me sort of inserting a bit of my style and influence onto that song. And that was really when I first started trying to gel what I'd learned and practiced based upon early Bulletscript stuff into something that I could like a little bit more call my own. Moving from then on to, I think Enemy was the next one.
Yeah.
That was slightly more collaborative, which was quite rad. There was a bunch of stuff inside there. So there were sections of it that still had hints and vibes from both my previous style and their previous style. And then there were parts of it which just sort of like happened spontaneously in the studio while we were building it together. So practice venue, not studio. And then that flowed so perfectly into Killers, which is the song that I firmly believe is going to blow people away. Where that, if I remember, no, it was this weird thing where the guys played, Jacques and the Oaks played a new riff
If I had
that
it
they'd
polished, my
written.
knob would be with that song.
But Jacques and the guy, because originally we were thinking of recording, I think 2 songs or maybe one of the old ones, and Jacques and Kyle and I think maybe JJ started jamming this one riff, and I was like, what the fuck is that? That is amazing. And it was something they'd just written. They'd put a brief structure together. And
It was actually the new song. We were trying to work on the new song, and then Jacques just bought that.
And then there was
riff,
a
and then
new
JJ
line.
and I started playing, and then Brett's like, "That's right." So the new song leapfrogged the new song that was meant to be on the
Exactly. There
EP.
was supposed to be another song on the album, and the new song jumped in, and just like I think we put that song together over the space of maybe 2-3 weeks. Like
Yeah, that was
2 weeks. The structure was done, and they were just perfecting it.
Yeah, that was the last and shortest one we did.
Yeah. And it's one of the most uniquely new Bulletscript songs because it was the culmination of all the style changes and evolutions that we'd gone up until
frothing.
then.
You're going to hear it just now.
All right.
You're not.
You're not.
On that note, what we're gonna do? This is a song that has been released already.
This is the first single of the
Yeah.
Enemy. First single.
First single off the EP Enemy by Bulletscript. Poster over there. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so keen to hear it. So this is, what do you want to say?
I was just gonna say that this song it's a good indication of where the band's going, where we want to go, and keep it heavy, keep it fast, big choruses.
Awesome.
Brett squeezing his balls while he's hitting those big choruses. Olly playing solos that go into the vocals like they shouldn't be going. Bit of cricket in between. But anyway, fuck
Space
all that bullshit.
cricket.
It's where we want to be. It's where the band's going, and I hope you dig it.
Enemy.
Oh, that says it all. This is Enemy by Bulletscript. Check it out.
What
Wow. That was Enemy by Bulletscript. Dudes. Holy shit.
Oh, it hurts.
Sounds so nice and raw and gritty and my man. Congratulations, dude. That
Thank you
is
very
awesome.
much, bro.
Very
it.
cool. Very, very
Culmination
cool.
of all the stuff we were talking about earlier.
Cool, okay, fuck you.
Okay, so just to give everybody a bit of a background of what we spoke about off camera is that this segment is going to be about a competition that Bulletscript is running. And I'm going to give Brett the floor because he's the one that explained it to me.
He's the only one that can
so-
because the rest of us don't know what this competition is.
So a surprise. Hello. Hello. Now, so we got a bit of a vibe going over here at the moment. What we sprang on Papa G, today is that we're actually going to release a song that hasn't. Sorry, there you are. A song that hasn't been released yet from the album.
You're
You're
doing
not going to be able to
terrific,
download it.
Sorry?
As you were.
Okay, so you're not going to be
As I
able to
was saying,
download it?
Yeah, so this is not a song you'll be able to download. It's only going to be available on the podcast until the album becomes available. Woo! Woo!
A G exclusive.
So when
Papa G exclusive.
when
Yes,
is
exactly.
when does the album become
So,
available?
9th of March.
Okay,
is when the
wicked.
album launch will happen, and then digitally online from 10th afterwards.
Okay, sick. So that is Lacerate, yeah?
So this is Lacerate, the song
Okay,
we're
we're
going
not
to
going to listen to it just yet.
Yeah, no, there's a bit of a build-up to
Yes,
this.
yes, let's do it.
So there's a bit of a story happening here. We've got a mate of ours who comes to all of our shows. He does things. He just like he takes photos, he takes videos, he gets the pit going, stuff like that. His name is
Sorry, I can't stop laughing.
his name is Fricky Borland. True story. And normally he would have a guest pass, a guest list to our launch on the 9th of March at Mercury. But the man can't make it, so we thought, what a rad opportunity to
For somebody else to be Fricky Burland.
For one of you to be
one
Fricky
of you
Bullet
can be Fricky Borland.
for the night.
So we thought, what a rad thing! Like this is what Oki takes our videos. He starts the pit. He like takes photos, shit like that.
Okay.
So like, when you watch this video,
One desire, one man, one desire.
Wait, we can use a timestamp. This timestamp at
oh yeah. So we got.
if you comment with this time signature,
You can stand a chance to be the next Fricky Borland.
and that's
True story.
Signature?
I'm
Just
sorry.
repeat that
Wait,
time
wait,
signature.
this one.
Like a flam.
it's a 1-1.
Okay.
I have no idea how you edit these videos, but whatever time that happens on,
Okay, no, that's
They
cool.
can edit
That's
that,
cool.
yeah.
We'll figure
That's
it
the
out.
cue for the video.
Well,
I mean, song.
if you want to be the next Fricky Borland,
That's free
that
entrance.
is the
to-
time
I'm sure
signature
Carl will buy you a
that
drink.
you need
Time
to
signature?
adhere
I'll
to.
buy anybody to drink the same Fricky Burland. I'm sorry.
maybe give us a hint as to why you think you'll be the next best Fricky Borland, and if we dig it, you'll have your name on the guest list at the album launch.
Give us a reason.
Nice.
Like, we're not going to accept amateurs here. Like, Fricky's a man, dude.
And we'll give you a shirt.
Okay, and why
Yeah,
can't
we're
he
not
make
looking
the
for
show?
a Franz bowler here. We want a Fricky Borland.
But why can't he make the show?
Fricky.
I don't know.
Brett, would you like to expand on that?
He's a busy man.
He had,
Okay.
he had prior commitments.
There's the Burland is large.
Okay.
And he needs to maintain. He's like the warden of the Burland.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm
I
starting
don't,
to.
I don't necessarily question his reasons for not making a show.
We also weren't expecting a follow-up question.
Okay. Well, on that basis, EP launch is Enemy,
9th of March at
9th
Mercury.
of March. Supporting acts: Peasant, Goat Throne.
Goat
Touring
Throne.
from Joburg.
Yeah, they're also releasing music around then. And if you don't know Goat Throne now, like, get on that. It's
Yeah, it would be their EP launch as well. Their Cape Town EP launch.
Okay.
Doom, sludge, stoner.
it's just rad.
Is this
really
Goat Throne,
stuff.
yeah?
Yeah, Goat Throne.
Yeah, I'm actually, to be honest with you, not familiar.
Dude,
I
check
think
him
a
out.
lot
They're
of people would
raid.
have been because I think they haven't come down to Cape Town.
Sure,
That
no,
many
but I mean,
times.
now it gives me something to look forward to
But
research.
Gavin, who's in the band, the guitarist, he's
X-Free money and
yeah, X-Free Money.
Okay, hardcore
also
vibes,
Def
eh?
Commission.
Okay.
he's helped out me personally and the other bands that have been in for a number of years. Rad guy, really, really
He
cool.
helped us out with this last tour as well. We did.
Yeah, with the last tour, the live videos for the Split album,
Okay.
with the live Midnight and Half Price. Just again, another cool crowd, you know.
Yeah, and I mean it's amazing. I mean you got two like hardcore influence bands like
And
sharing
let's
the
not forget
stage with you guys for your
let's
EP
not forget
launch.
Southern Death Culture as well. Like,
Oh yeah. But
Yeah,
to
dude.
be honest with you, gotta be fair. I'm looking at the
the poster.
poster and I can't quite make out the
Read
third
it.
one. Yeah, so
Look,
I was
they're
hoping
fucking-
you guys were gonna
an
bring it
actual
up.
band to watch, bro. Seriously.
Like
No,
Every
no,
second
totally.
week.
We saw them the first time towards like end of last year at Ellington's. We played with them and like holy crap, dude.
Awesome.
And then like watching them open, they had the opening slot at Metal for Africa, and like me and Carl were there since like 2 and
Another-
fucking hell.
Yeah, look,
dude,
Ryan
they're
and the guys
just
in that band,
something
they're
else,
doing
man.
something really cool. I mean, they're encompassing a lot of thrash style, but like even almost with a bit of like a punk ethos to it, like, you know, very early Slayer kind of stuff.
It's just dope.
So they got like thrash.
Have they got
hardcore.
anything to listen to like
They actually
videos and all
tonight.
that?
Well, tonight they're releasing their first single.
Oh, wicked.
What's it called?
So that's a few
No
days
One
back
Cares.
in
I
past.
think it's called No One Cares.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you want to check out a new rad band, they're from Joburg.
No.
No?
Well, Go Throne
Oh,
from
Go Throne,
Joburg.
Yeah, so go through it from Joburg and Southern Death Culture.
Right
From
here.
Cape
From
Town.
Cape
Yeah.
Town.
Yeah,
Cape
dude.
Town.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
They're local homies.
So they're
rad.
just bringing out their single. I think it's called No One Cares.
Okay, so
They're actually on 94.0 radio
Yeah,
this
shit, they're
evening.
actually
Oh, tonight on
well,
1FM.
tonight,
Yeah.
but
With
not
talent.
tonight because you won't see this tonight. So they're with talent. Yeah.
okay, sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again,
Yeah, well,
and,
you
and
won't see
again,
it
They were on
They were
Tuesday.
on Tuesday.
What's really nice is that we've got, again, we always like to give a mix, and this is kind of, you know, we don't want all bands that sound similar to us or all bands that sound the same
Totally, yeah.
on the lineup. So Peasant, been homies with them for years.
Yo, I'm just excited to play
Yeah,
a show
with-
with Adri now.
Yeah, Audrey,
Yeah.
their new singer, dude.
We got the Jordan brothers
Yo,
bloody
the clown,
bringing it
dude.
to
You know,
to the
I
to the
mean,
party,
um,
yeah. And old Pato.
Yeah, Graham.
And I just have to give Keegan
And they,
a shout
I mean,
out
they're
because
always tight as
Keegan.
hell. They're really good, dude. You know what I mean? So, and then you've got Go Throne.
Shit, sorry. Excuse me.
Oh dear.
I ate something.
Seems like
bad.
someone's had a problem.
Then you got Go Throne, which adds something different, the sort
Yeah.
of doom sludge kind of stuff. And you got the thrash. You know, again, it's a bit of something for everybody. I think.
I think that's brilliant
Yeah,
though.
it's
That's I mean
gonna
that's
be a
the way to
really
do
rad,
it.
diverse night of like just
And
kiff metal, really. From
it's
the,
just
from
a
the groove
shame-
to the thrash to the newcomers to the stoner vibes, which is going to be very cool. I think from Josie. I'm
other
really
thing is
looking forward to
Mercury's
the night. Hey,
gone
man.
through a renovation, so they
it looks so dope.
you know they
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you were there on
Yeah,
at the
I was
Fuzzy
there.
shows, you
I
know,
was
so
there.
Yeah.
I was a
it's
sweaty
just-
mess.
Yeah,
Man, I was
dude.
a sweaty mess on stage.
So
it
be
was
prepared
amazing.
because this is going to be a sweaty mess as well.
It's gonna be great.
So it's
amazing.
Better
It's
be.
so great.
you know what's really nice now is that the downstairs bar is open from about 6:30 onwards. You know, so
And it heaves right throughout
yeah,
the
absolutely
night
dude.
as well.
You know what I
Heaves.
mean?
I like that.
Again, it's like the guys,
heaves.
Tim and Stefan and them. They've
done a
really
good
been
job,
yeah, they've been working really hard in getting that back to one of the iconic venues. It's one of the few big venues to play at. You know,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
one. Look again, quite hard to fill.
It used to be a goal of ours to like play upstairs in Mercury, like, and now I'm doing it. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, man.
But I think that's actually what's going to be particularly cool about this gig. It's going to be the first time I've jammed Mercury with these guys. And I think, no, we haven't jammed Mercury yet. No.
We've only played a couple of gigs
Yeah,
with
only
you.
like I've literally, I think, maybe played 4 gigs with you over the last year.
Cool.
And it'll be the first time you meet the new Fricky Bullet.
And it will be the first time we...
Everybody,
Any one of you
take a
could be the
moment.
next Fricky Bullen.
Whomever you happen to be.
But like so, but for real, so I mean, Mercury is a staple of live music in Cape Town, and they've been through a lot of constructions, and their sound now is as close to perfect as I think that place can actually get.
Sure.
And it's going to be such a joy actually
And their
bringing
lighting
this
show,
stuff
just
to
everything
light.
about it, they've just upped the game.
to
You know
life,
what I mean?
yeah.
There's just like a lot more space as well, man. It just seems like the place is bigger. It just seems like they've utilized the space a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. I think they've been so smart about the way they've opened up the back. They've extended the bar around there. It just feels like a solid venue. I mean, that's not to say it wasn't a solid venue before, but now it feels like it was. It feels like it's what it was meant to be. You
I
know,
totally get what you're saying, man. I
Again,
totally do.
like as everything else has to evolve and like
busting the new guys' chops all the time, eh?
Well,
Come on.
I mean,
hands.
Did you call that busting? I thought we were
Do we have
stroking.
an HR department?
JJ.
Okay, so guys, so the 9th, the 9th of
The 9th of
March,
March at Mercury.
Enemy, EP, Bulletscript, Peasant, Goat Throne,
Go Throne
Southern
will
Death
be
Culture.
releasing the EP as well.
and Goat Throne will. So it's like it's
double
not
EP
oh,
launch.
so it's a split EP or
well,
double
it's-
EP.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
If I can interject for a second,
Go for it, brother.
Yeah, please stop me talking.
we printed limited edition merch. This is one of them on the table over here.
There we go. Give it a smash there, bro.
Snap scan compliance.
So we're going to this is printed in red. The majority of them are only going to be printed in black. You can only get these at live events, and they will be sold in package deals. We haven't decided on the price yet, but EP, T-shirt, and entrance will be included.
Epic, man.
Watch all of our social media channels to find out what's happening.
Yeah, that was coming next. I know
yeah.
I've got one of the old Bulletscript short sleeve
Yeah, that's
jerseys.
a cuck one. You need a new one.
They're like 200,000 count cotton.
It's like a fleece T-shirt.
I love
Did
you
you
for
guys- you
saying
obvious-
that because I've always thought they've been too thick.
They are so thick,
Dude,
bro.
I'm from England. I grew up in the snow. Those shirts are fucking warm, dude.
Yeah, they're super warm, as you could
I'm a
tell by
fan.
my
But they are great
brows
for
earlier.
I'm sweating just
I
looking
feel
at
like
you.
I feel like we're undermining our own product here.
So
No,
carry
it's
on.
Long story short, though.
Print lasts forever.
Long story short, though.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the channels. There's going to be really rad promo opportunities to get the EP and entrance and some limited edition merch. Again, I reiterate, you won't be able to order the stuff online. It's just for sales. And I really hope to see as many people there as possible because it's going to be a fucking amazing
It
gig.
is going to be
Yeah.
wicked.
Yeah.
And if you want to spend all your cash at the bar, that's cool. We're doing snap scan and all that kind of stuff.
Wicked.
We've gone with the tech.
21st century
Hey,
band.
listen. Oh, by the way,
How do
speaking
you
of the
look in a
tech,
mini skirt and a crop top? Because if you
feel
could
like
walk
that's-
around with a QR code for our snap scan and our merch,
We're hiring,
I'll pay you.
I'm your man.
I feel like that's a different interview altogether.
but we are on the couch.
I was waiting for that.
Christ.
But no, yeah, we'll have some merch specials. I think all the bands, they'll have merch on sale. Go Through being an EP launch as well as us. We'll have some combo deals.
Oh, dude.
Wicked,
Go,
man.
Go Thrones patches are awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's. I hope a lot of people come because they're going to be missing out on like a good showcase of a good spread of thrash metal, groove metal, hardcore, stoner fucking sludge.
Either way,
at
it's
a
gonna
rad
be a draw.
venue. It's
I'm
gonna
getting
be
a good vibe by the local
And it's-
scene
and
at the
it's-
moment, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be amazing.
And actually,
Looking forward to it.
surprisingly, it's actually pretty. It's a very competitive rate for entry. I think it's $50 for entry.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that
No, you got to raise those prices,
Is that
brother.
it? Oh my gosh. I can still go watch a gig and buy my groceries in the same week.
Just to talk about the digital side, Papa G's House is now available on Anchor FM. Download the app and check out anchor.fm. Search Papa G's House and you'll
.fm.
find all the audio episodes there. I keep the last two on SoundCloud and obviously you'll check it on YouTube. But guys, holy shit. What a roller coaster and epic time we have had.
I'm just
On-
apologizing.
on-
I'm sorry to speak over you as the veteran. I'm sorry that this podcast
Veteran
is almost
of
2
public-
hours as well since the last one.
Yeah.
I suck and I'm sorry.
But there's a certain point where you're like, do I keep it to an hour? Do I cut you short when there's so much good conversation and stuff?
I was cut short
Gareth,
when I was
We
born.
can do what the hell we
At the
want
end of the
to.
day, you got to be doing it for you, bro.
Well, I'm
I mean,
doing
wasn't
it
that what you took
for
out of
you.
the things that care?
I'm trying to be
That's right. So
philosophical
find
circle
the thing
now.
that you love and just do it until it murders you.
Until it puts you in so much debt that you don't know where to go from there.
But also,
and then
would
you're
like,
in a metal band.
but also would like to take this opportunity to just thank you, dude, for having us here. It's,
Oh, yeah, man.
we've
Thanks
been talking
so
about this
much
for a
for
while,
coming.
and yeah, this has been a hell of a jaw. Like,
It's been
good
it's
hanging
been
out with you
awesome.
again, man. We're neighbors. We should hang out more.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah. Any other bands want to get on podcast? This is your man right there.
Or if you're in the southern
he
suburbs
lets
and
you
want to drink.
Yeah.
He's accessible in any way you want. And,
Nice one.
Smash that like, smash
There
that
are no
subscribe.
rules.
Yes, please.
Join Papa G's notification squad by hitting the bell and getting notifications for this one. Dude, YouTube, right?
I'm told there's probably a subscribe button like over here.
And
1,
also,
2, 3.
And also, last thing, I just want
Yeah.
to wish all the bands entering the Battle for Wacken the
Oh,
best
yeah,
of luck, 'cause
good
that's
luck.
quite a big thing. I mean,
Yeah, it
we've
is, it
done
is
that.
actually,
We made
yeah.
the finals in Joburg.
Yeah, that's tough.
Again, it's just having that facility for bands to actually go out and try and do something. So I know there's next weekend, Friday and
Yes,
Saturday.
yes.
Stellenbosch
It's
on
the Cape
class
Town
as well
Heats. We've
as-
actually got a few that have made it through to the final already.
yeah.
I'm
So
not going to
just-
rattle off names,
Yeah.
but check it out on the
Yeah.
page.
So just go support those bands. Are trying they're
I
working their
think-
fucking asses
Yeah,
off.
I think I'd like to mention on this with the whole like Battle of the Bands thing, which isn't a very common thing, especially in the metal scene where it's exclusively metal. If you don't get it, you don't make it, or you do make it to the finals and you don't make it, don't be disheartened or shit. Like, use that as a fucking thing to go forwards.
And
Like,
don't use politics as a
don't-
fucking
yeah,
excuse.
Yeah, dude, don't let it get you down. Like, even if you don't make it through the first heat, fuck that. Keep going.
To put it into context, no one here has made it to Germany yet. So
That's true. We got to Joburg.
Jeez, that was a really depressing note to end this interview.
I made it there
Anyway,
in my
I'm
mind.
drunk and I'm going to end on that happy note.
for sure, guys. But thank you so much to Carl, Ollie, and Brett. It's been absolutely awesome. I think this has been one of the more
Abstract.
true and real. Like, it's been so raw. It's been fantastic. It's been
And
great.
second longest.
You guys got my guard down as well. You know, you came and we were like, let's have a couple of beers. Let's actually sit down. Let's talk shit. Let's
You told us to
give
bring
the
a lot of
listeners
beer.
what they want to
you
hear.
spend any
Just for
more
any
time
bands
with
that
them,
are
you'll
coming
be
to
a
the
vocalist.
podcast for future, let's just talk over each other. Brett, you go first.
Yeah. So this is Papa G's house. That is Carl. That is Ollie. That is Brett. Thank
And
you for listening.
Papa G.
I'm Papa G. I'm G. I'm Gareth.
You get it.
And I think if I'm right, this is Lacerate.
This is the longest
And
thing in the history
no,
of
well,
endings.
that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting
This
to.
is like
That's what I'm
Lord of
getting
the
to.
Rings with Sam and fucking Frodo. They just like keep walking, you know?
This.
What, Merry and Pippin?
I'm gonna leave now.
Also, I'm going to leave. I fucking can't handle it.
Starting to have to reel yokes in for a minute. No, I'm joking.
Okay, so this
Okay.
is Gareth.
This is Bulletscript. This is Lacerate. And thank you for listening. This is Papa G's house. We're out. That's where we're going.